Hello and welcome to BlueZoo, where we talk all things blue. And some of you guys may have been expecting a transfer talk video, but this video is not a transfer talk, and the reason for that is there's not really a lot going on in terms of Chelsea transfers right now. You know, the biggest thing is N'Golo Conte. The deal for him seems to be getting closer and closer, but other than that, there's not really a lot happening. So I thought I'd make a transfer-related video, but not a transfer talk per se. Today I'm going to be talking about our center backs, more specifically the three listed in the title down below. And this should be a very, very interesting conversation to have. But before I get to that, just two things. Number one, Antonio Conte had his very first press conference as a Chelsea manager yesterday. For those of you who are Chelsea TV subscribers like me, you guys would have seen it live. But for those of you guys who couldn't watch it or can't watch it, I left the link in the description down below, which goes to it's a YouTube video. It's a video of Antonio Conte's press conference, so you guys should go watch that. I highly recommend it to all of you guys. Number two, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird today. That's for two reasons. Number one, I have a cold, and second of all, this is like my 10th take of this video, so my voice is kind of dying away right now. But yeah, let's get straight to this discussion. Firstly, why am I making this video? And this takes me back to around 2 months ago when I first made my Mourinho video. And ever since then, for those 2 months, I've been very active in the comment section down below, and I've talked to a lot of you guys. And some of you have told me, or have asked me, have asked me about our center backs. And because in my videos, I said that we should buy a center back. And I suggested Bonucci in my transfer wish list video, but I also said that Coulibaly would be a very, very good defender to have. By the way, one of you have told me his name is pronounced Koulibaly, not Koulibaly, so I'm going to say Coulibaly. Thank you for that. But anyway, a lot of you guys have told me also that, you know, is it worth buying another center back, another experienced center back for 30-40 million pounds? Or should we give this opportunity to an incredible young player that we have called Andreas Christensen, who spent the last season out on loan in Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga? And I thought, you know, that's a very interesting thought. So I looked a lot deeper into Christensen, and I found out that he really, really is an incredible player. Here's the basic info on him. He's a 20-year-old center back from Denmark. As I said, he's a Chelsea player out on loan in Mönchengladbach. They finished 4th in the Bundesliga last season. And in that team, think about it like this. As a 20-year-old who came on loan in a team that finished 4th in the Bundesliga, Andreas Christensen was the player of the season for Mönchengladbach last season. I think that's pretty incredible. That's incredibly impressive for especially a 20-year-old player who's on loan at, you know, it's pretty incredible. And I was like, wow, this guy's really, really good. Maybe it is worth giving an opportunity, and I thought about it more and more and more and more, and I can't make up my mind on whether I think we should buy another center back or whether I think we should give the opportunity to Christensen. And that's why I'm making this video. I want to have this conversation/discussion with you guys, so be sure to be active in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think we should do. Should we buy Coulibaly? Should we buy Manolas? Should we buy none of them, give Christensen a chance? Should we buy both of them and give Christensen a chance? I don't know, man. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will be looking forward to talking to you, but, you know, hold your keyboards for now. Wait until the end of this video. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is going to be giving you the basic information on all these three players. By the way, I've excluded Bonucci on purpose because as much as I want to buy Bonucci, I don't think a deal for him is going to happen. And if it does, it's going to be an incredibly expensive deal, which I don't want to happen. Because you guys would have heard Manchester City had a bid of like 42 million pounds rejected by Juventus. So I personally don't think that deal is going to go through now. So it's either for me between Coulibaly and Manolas. So let's talk about them. Coulibaly, first of all, he is a central defender, French/Senegalese central defender from Napoli. He is 25 years old, not 23 years old, as I said in a previous video. I'm sorry for that. Thank you for the people who corrected me there. But a 25-year-old center back in Napoli, and those of my Italian friends will know that Napoli has had an amazing season, and more specifically, an incredible defense in this past season. And Coulibaly was at the heart of that defense, and, you know, he contributed a lot to it. For just some background info, Napoli, I've got at the table here. By the way, all these links will be in the description down below. They give great statistics, great visualizations. I highly recommend them for you guys to watch them, especially because I know you guys may not be able to read all of these. So just check them out in the description down below. But Napoli actually came second in the league last season and only conceded 32 goals. Juventus, who came first, conceded 20, and AS Roma, who came third, conceded 41. So that kind of gives you perspective of how good Napoli were. They were very, very good. Received a lot of praise from pundits and a lot of people online. So that's Coulibaly. Don't know what's happening. That's Coulibaly in terms of his team. But on a more personal record, you guys can check this link out. They give great statistics. I'm going to point out two for the moment. Number one, he has an 86% pass accuracy. So he is not a player who is afraid of bringing the ball out. In fact, watching his highlights video, I saw that he likes to dribble out a lot. He likes to bring up the ball a lot. Sort of reminded me a little bit of David Luiz. He's also very, very physical, very, very strong, great in the air. And another statistic is that he has an average of 7 defensive actions per game. And what constitutes a defensive action is either a clearance, an interception, or a block. He has had 33 appearances for Napoli last season. So those are the basic stats. If you guys want to know more, click a link in the description down below. But he is a very, very good player, and all these stats only show good things about him. And I'm going to talk more about the other players and then kind of compare all three of them together. Don't know what just happened. What is happening? Give me a sec, guys. Manolas. Yes, let's talk about Manolas. Kostas Manolas. He's a Greek defender, Greek center back who plays for AS Roma. AS Roma actually came just below Napoli, who came third in the not the Premier League, the Serie A last season. And as I said, they conceded 41 goals, which isn't that impressive. That's actually quite high, to be honest. And let me just put that into perspective. Inter Milan, who came fourth, conceded 38 goals. And Fiorentina, who came fifth, conceded 42 goals. So, nothing special in terms of AS Roma's defense as a whole last season in the Serie A. But Manolas himself has been quite impressive, and he's got the attention of a lot of big European clubs. His name is being thrown around by the media quite a lot. And just some basic stats on him: he has an 87% pass accuracy. So personally, guys, to be honest, I know much more about Coulibaly and Christensen than I do about Manolas. But just based off his stats and some videos that I've seen, he does seem to not be afraid of bringing the ball up. He's very comfortable bringing the ball up, and as at 87% pass accuracy, that's very, very impressive, obviously. And he's also had an average of 7 defensive actions per game. And as I said, that's a clearance or interception or a block. 7 of those, just like Coulibaly. And if you guys remember, Coulibaly had an 86% pass accuracy. Manolas has an 87% pass accuracy. He has had 37 appearances for AS Roma in the Serie A last season. So very, very big part of their defense. Or a big part of the team last season for AS Roma. So he does seem to be another really, really, really great player. But now I'm going to talk about. By the way, I don't think I mentioned he is 25 years old, just like Coulibaly. But Christensen, he is only 20 years old, as I said. I gave you the basic info on him already. Gladbach, who came fourth last season. Let me just get the page up. Gladbach conceded 50 goals last season. And that is a lot, actually. That is a lot. Just to put it into perspective, Bayern Munich, who came first, conceded 17. Dortmund, second, conceded 34. Leverkusen, who were third, conceded 40. Gladbach conceded 50. And then Schalke, who were fifth, conceded 49. FSV, who were sixth, conceded 42. So you guys kind of see that Mönchengladbach's defense as a whole wasn't too great last season. In fact, oh my god, I'm sorry about this, guys. Technical difficulties. And I don't, in fact, I think it was after the first 5 or 6 games or something, their manager resigned just because they were conceding like crazy. They had a really, really poor start to the season. And, but over the season, they became steadier and steadier, and eventually, Andreas Christensen became seen as this great center back who was absolutely integral to their defense. As I said, player of the season for Mönchengladbach. That's very difficult as a center back and 20 years old and on loan from another club. That's pretty incredible in my opinion. And some basic stats for him. The rest has had 7 average defensive actions per game. He has had 8 average defensive actions per game. He has had an 87% pass accuracy. So they're all quite similar. Coulibaly was 86, Manolas was 87, Christensen is 87. and he has had 31 appearances last season for Mönchengladbach. So, you guys can kind of get into perspective of how good these players are. And in terms of the statistics, they're actually quite similar, you guys could say that. But we all know that statistics don't show the whole story. Of course, Christensen is a young player. He's 20 years old. He's much less experienced at the highest level, than someone like Manolas or Coulibaly. And that's what this whole thing seems to be boiling down to, experience. Because, they're all really, really great teams. I mean, really, really great players. Individually, Coulibaly, Manolas, Christensen. But when you talk about, whether we should give Christensen a chance or whether we should buy Coulibaly, what are we really talking about? We're talking about that age, that experience, and that bring that extra stability to our team. Because last season we have had one of the historically worst seasons. In fact, I think it's the defensively worst season that Chelsea have had in Premier League history, or something like that, something very close to that. And we don't want to have another season like that. We want to be right up there. We need our defense to be right up there as well if we want to be competing for the title. And I think it's just that kind of desire for guarantees. We want to be guaranteed that our center back is strong, that he's going to be stable, and he's going to bring a lot, consistently throughout the course of the season. And I think that's kind of the temptation to buy a center back. That's where it comes from. But the thing is, Christensen is a really, really good player. Not only the stats show it, but he was voted the player of the season last season, and that's a really, really big achievement. And he's only 20 years old. And if we look at the Chelsea's loan policy, it's an absolutely disastrous loan policy in my opinion. It deserves its own video. But the purpose of the loan policy is that we loan people out, and if they do well, we reward them. Right? That's how it's meant to work. Christensen has had an absolute blinder of a season, and if we don't reward him now, then what does our youth even mean to us? That means that would just be so symbolic of our youth policy, that even if you're great, we're not going to play you. And we've ruined so many careers like that beforehand, prior to today. And I think giving Christensen's opportunity would be really, really brave of us. It would be making a big, big statement. But at the same time, we would kind of have that assurance of guarantees and experiences. Let's just go back to the basics here. I think, and I've given my reasons like 3 or 4 times before, Antonio Conte is going to play a 4-4-2 formation or a 4-2-4, some kind of variant of that. But the key point being that it's not a 3-back, it's a 4-back. So we're going to need 2 center backs. If you guys want my reasoning for that, be sure to check out my Antonio Conte video. But anyway, yeah, 2 center backs. And right now, who do we have as our center backs? We have Gary Cahill, we have Zuma, and we have John Terry. 3 players for 2 positions. And I think it's quite clear to everyone that we do need a 4th center back. But the question is, do we bring them in, or do we give Christensen a chance? And the thing is, Christensen isn't someone who's been talked a lot about, who's been talked about a lot in the media. So most of the attention has been Chelsea's going to sign Coulibaly for £30 million. Chelsea's going to offer Manolas however much money. No one's really talked about Christensen, and I thought I'd really bring this attention to him and just have this conversation with you guys. And as I said, we need 2 center backs, 3 players. Zuma, brilliant young defender. I think he is going to be our main center back next season. Excuse me. 2nd center back, Gary Cahill. He's relatively young for a center back. He's very, very good. He had a kind of poor start to the season last season, just like every other Chelsea player. But he has grown into the role, and he has been getting better and better, especially when Zuma got injured. He did not disappoint us. And so he kind of grew into it, and he ended quite well. And he was, of course, captain for England in the Euros, but of course, England weren't that good in the Euros. But anyway, sorry, I just completely, what were we talking about? Yeah, Gary Cahill, he is another option for us. John Terry, he's a big question mark for me personally, because I don't know what sort of a role he's going to have in the squad next season. In fact, Antonio Conte was asked about it in his press conference, and he replied with saying that he's a very important player to us. He is always the captain on and off the pitch, but didn't really give any clear details as to what his role is going to be. And I don't think he's going to be a player that plays game in, game out, unfortunately, and that's a big shame. It kind of marks the end of an era. It's going to be a big shame, but I personally think that Chelsea, the board, are looking to transition from him and to bring in new players, to build a new generation, to build a new team. And I think Terry's role on the pitch is going to be quite limited. He's going to be more of a vocal player in the dressing room and kind of rile everyone up and kind of inspire them, especially in those big games. And of course, I actually missed out one player, Matt Miazga. He is the USA center back. He's very, very young. I think he's 19 years old right now, or maybe 20, one of those two. But I talked about him before. I don't know why we bought him. I don't think we should have bought him. Like, if you're gonna buy him, you might as well give Christensen a chance. It makes no sense. But yeah, in fact, talk to me about Miazga. Do you think we should keep him? Do you think we should? And let's in fact add him to this equation. Of course, he's not in the title. He's not in the thumbnail. But let's just talk about him. Matt Miazga as well. If you guys want to give your opinions on him, be sure to tell me down there. But guys, a fourth player is needed, and I don't know. I think that's the big theme of this video. I don't have the answers. I don't know if I want to go for Christensen. I don't know if I want to go for Coulibaly. But the more I think about it, I feel like I'm leaning towards going for Christensen. Just purely because he has had a sensational season. He is a homegrown. Actually, I don't know if he counts as homegrown because I don't know the legalities of it. But actually, he's a great player. He came through us. And it would be great to give him an opportunity. And he seems to be very good. I personally don't think he's going to be kind of a naive, inexperienced player when he comes to it. He's going to be a player who was a player of the season for the team that came fourth in the Bundesliga last season. And, the more I think about it, I think I'm leaning towards him. But then I think to myself, oh wait, but why take that risk of, on a young player when you can have that guarantee of experience and quality in Manolas or Coulibaly, who have proven it season in, season out for big teams under pressure before, rather than Christensen, who's only really had one great season in a high pressure league, or in a high level of football, should I say. So it's a battle. I don't know. But hopefully you guys know, and that is the whole purpose of this video. I feel like I just wasted like 10 to 15 minutes of your life today. Yeah, I don't have a conclusion. I'm just gonna end the video here, guys. I don't know. Tell me down there. I'll be very glad to discuss this with you guys. So yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. And that's really the end of this video. That's quite disappointing, isn't it? There's really no conclusion at all. But guys, that's it. Just another quick Chelsea info. You guys will know Conte is having his very first game. Preseason kicks off Saturday, sometime on Saturday for most of the world. For me, it's like 1 a.m. on Sunday, but we're all gonna be watching that. But anyway, guys, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, I'm sorry for not having a real purpose to this video, but yeah, stay blue, basically, yeah, stay blue.